Hey, Reilly is the first American to reach the National Bank Open final since Marty Fish in 2011. He lost to Djokovic that year. And tomorrow, Reilly will attempt to become the first American to win on Canadian soil since Andy Roddick in 2003 in Montreal. All right, let's open it up for questions. Lucas, go right ahead.
Hi, Reilly. Lucas Weiss with Blue Wire Hustle. Congrats on making the final here in Toronto. I know after your match, you talked about, some of the places that you were playing back, a few years ago. Can you just maybe describe about some of the random places that maybe you played on the Challenger Tour and just what it means, a few years later to get to your first ATP Masters 1000 final?
Yeah, I mean, the darkest day of tennis for me, I remember too well, unfortunately. But I was playing a challenger in Central America, and my coach and I were there. It was red clay. The courts were like completely unplayable, and I just remember Isner was playing in the finals of Miami against Zverev. And we were stoked for him. We were stopping practice to check scores, and then I remember like mid-tournament, I think at the first ball change in my match, they ran out of the tournament ball they were using, so we switched balls to a completely different brand of ball, like midway through the first set, and the court was like completely rugged, and I was like, you know what? If I even try, I could roll an ankle. I was like, I want out of here, and I didn't even compete, and I wasn't even frustrated with myself. I just wanted to get out of there healthy, and I remember just being livid that like I flew a coach, a physio, I invested in myself to do things the right way, and the tournament was unplayable. They didn't have food on site. There was no indoor area to sit and hang out. It was all outside, and it was super hot. And I just remember like, and then Isner had just won, and I was like stoked for Isner, but I was like, man, like this is not the same sport that Sasha Zverev and John Isner are playing.
So to then, think that, and then now, here today in Toronto, there's fans cheering for you and that atmosphere to beat a top player like Stefanos. I mean, what does that just say about, where you came from to get to where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot, but everyone's been there, like every player's been there, to be honest. There's only a few that haven't. Isner might be one of those. He's never played a Grand Slam qualifying match, which is a unique stat, I always say. But every player's had adversity at some point in their career. Everyone's had a dark day. Every athlete, and so yeah, I mean, mine is not as dark as others. I'll say that. There's been some really great stories from some guys and that have turned nothing into something. And yeah, I think that's a common thing a lot of athletes can relate to, but nothing special or out of the ordinary that I've done.
Thanks, Reilly.
Thanks.
Okay, Gemma from Canadian Press. Go ahead, Gemma.
Hi, Reilly. Gemma here from the Canadian Press in Vancouver. Obviously, your serve was huge today. What else was working for you against Stefanos that really kind of gave you the advantage?
I volleyed really well, and especially on like big points, even in that last game, I know I got lucky with that net cord on the forehand volley, but I had a good unbelievable backhand volley actually at 15 love. That's a huge point to get 30 love, and then I finished another one with an overhead, I think. So I think in down break point, a volley winner. I really was clutch with not only my serve but with my volleys in the big moments.
Talk to us about the no look between the legs shot.
I mean, that was my only option from there. I joke around it's kind of somewhat of a highlight, but tweeners are so like common now. They're so I always say they're so mainstream. They're not even that cool anymore because everyone hits them. Like you can't find a Kyrgios match where he doesn't hit two of them. Hubert Hurkacz hits one every match. It's it's just like the only one I think I've ever made.
Thanks so much. Looking forward to see what you pull out tomorrow.
Thank you.
Hey, Diana, go ahead, please.
Your composure on the court was great. Is this your personality, or did it take some work for you to get there?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely takes some work to get there. I mean, there's still some times a day where I, just like any, I think, human, I'll show some frustration, but it's something I've worked a lot on, and it's just required in order to beat the best guys. You don't have time. I've learned to waste energy on other things, and your mind has to be engaged on one thing only. And as soon as you open the door to, let it slip, you right away are distracted from some things that can change the match, like a subtle adjustment of a tactic or just having awareness of what they're doing. So it's just, better for me to focus on the task at hand, kind of,
Okay, Chris Otto. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Reilly, big congrats on a great effort today.
Thanks, mate.
Can you take me briefly through the break point that you mentioned? Looks like you broke a string, and then the decision to go with serve and volley on the second serve there?
Yeah, I mean, it was unfortunate I broke that string there, but I wasn't too concerned. And then, yeah, I think going to serve and volley was the right play in general. I'd done it on other moments of the match, especially on the ad side. It wasn't completely out of the blue, and I think it was the right call. A new racket, especially, is not a time you want to be like grinding out a point with, especially that big of a point. So I think that was the right call, and I was willing to live with it. If he ran around and hit a forehand return at my feet, I was willing to live with it. I think either way, that was the right move.
Reilly, it feels like American tennis is having a bit of a moment right now. I mean, there's 14 guys in the top 100. That's the most since '96. There's also Brooksby, Nakashima, Sebi that are coming up that are younger than your quartet of guys, with Tommy Paul, Francis, and Taylor. I wonder if you could just comment on the vibe and if you're excited at all to be kind of a leader now in that group.
I mean, I wouldn't call myself a leader. The press has been extremely negative towards American tennis, extremely negative, ridiculous, to be honest. We have 14 guys in the top 100. So yeah, when it comes to the press always being so critical on U.S. tennis, I don't have time to answer it. I don't have time to even hear any of those comments. We have some unbelievable guys. Isner's been top 20 for a decade. TFO has been in the quarters of the Australian Open. He's beaten pretty much everyone. Tommy has had an unbelievable last 2 years, and Fritz has been consistently top 30 for a long time now. The media and the press have been extra harsh, I think, on American tennis success. They've been comparing it to a unrealistic era. The game's different. The game's changed. And the American tennis is in a great spot. It's been and then the women's side we've been fortunate with Venus and Serena, and now Coco and Madison Keys have been great. American tennis is doing just fine. It's the media that has the problem, not us.
Reilly, last one. If the tweeners aren't cool anymore, what is cool?
I don't know what's cool anymore. I guess I don't know what the new wave is. For a while, the underhand serve was cool, but the lefty serve that Fritz does, he thinks that one's real cool. That one might be cool, but yeah, the tweeners are too mainstream now.
Thanks and good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, Stephen from the Slice. Go ahead, Stephen.
Hey, Reilly, great win today. Yeah, another tight match. So, sorry, I was a little bit late to this, but you might have already talked about it. But it was just like, what do you feel like was the way that you were able to get your edge today to get the win? Because you guys were both serving super well. He actually, I think, the stat I saw last was he actually had more unreturned serves than you did, which is a pretty crazy stat during the match. So how were you able to kind of finally get that break, do you think?
I think it was just accumulation of pressure put on him, I think he felt that, I was serving well. I was winning points in a lot of different ways on my serve. Even when he hit some good returns, I would crush some forehands, or I came up with some good volleys. So I think there was I was winning so many points with so many different ways and different shots that the pressure just kind of stayed on him. And then that game I broke, I didn't do anything special necessarily. You know, I got I put in some good returns, but I think I got a double fault. I got the first ball, like that shank backhand. He had missed all match, and I think it was just, maybe it was just a fluke game, but I like to think it was pressure that I put on him with holding so easily the whole match.
No, I totally agree, and it seemed like, a lot of times when smaller guys are playing the big servers, I feel like once they get into the rallies, they're hoping that you're going to eventually not be able to get to balls, or you're going to make mistakes because you're going to not be able to move as well. I've seen that for years when Federer's playing taller guys or any of those type of things. It just didn't seem like that was the case today. Like he didn't seem like you gave him a break in the rallies, right? Like it seemed like you're pretty uneven foot. Like you must have been really happy with that.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, I definitely felt like he got real comfortable there, kind of moving me with his forehand, and I think to a certain extent it was too much. I played a little too much tennis with him. I think he got comfortable in that aspect where he's got to be like, I'm running him, I'm grinding him down. Like, I like my chances here. I'm going to keep these points long. I'm hitting forehands everywhere. He's going side to side. This is right where I want to be almost. So I think to a certain extent it helped that there was some games where I missed a lot of returns, didn't put much in play, and then the game I broke, I just came up with some returns, came up with an extra ball here or there, and it'd been maybe 20-30 minutes since we had a long rally, and that's why I got some unforced errors.
Yeah, great stuff.
Thanks.
Okay, let's get our last question from Alexander. Go ahead, Alexander.
Alex from Solaring Podcast with Tennis Canada. I'm just wondering, what would it mean to be if you had a final against John Isner, an All-American final?
Yeah, that'd be great. It'd be great for us. I think the tennis fans would be a little salty about it, which I understand. Isner and I were joking around about like what the definition of a serve bot is, because we were joking like, is Kyrgios like considered first team all bot? Because he holds serve a lot. The stats kind of point towards him holding a lot, and it's considered a possible potential first team all bot. Right now it's Isner is first team, I'm first team, Karlovic is first team, Raonic, and I think Kevin Anderson. But Kyrgios makes a case for it, but we kind of came to the conclusion today that serve bots have to be a little bit miserable to watch, and he's too exciting, too fun to watch, so he doesn't fall into the serve bot, the full first team serve bot category.
Any follow-up?
No, thank you.
All right, thanks everyone. Good luck tomorrow, Reilly.
Thanks.